Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and we're going to do something a little bit different. So again, I'm going to give you my heads up. A long video, lots of gabbiness, maybe too long. It takes me too long to get to where you want to see. Just saying. But I do like to gab. So for those of you that have been here for a little bit, you see that I have card making on one side and I have the junk journals that I do on the other side. I'm going to merge those two worlds today. There's a common denominator though between those two worlds, and that's paper. And that's what we're going to look at. So recently in the junk journal side, I've been showing digital downloads. And I've also been showing that they can be extremely addictive. Just saying. Okay, for me, they're addictive. Okay? But for someone, they make crafting, they assist in the process. And they are beautiful, beautiful images out there. There was someone who made a comment in one of those videos. I forget which one. But she said this is how she used to card make. To make her cards was through digital downloads. I found that extremely intriguing. And at the same time, I sat back and said, why the heck not? So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to cross over the digital downloads and show you how you can put them into your card making. All right, if this is something that you like. Now, the images that I do like are the vintage Christmas images, and that's what we're going to focus on. It's July, so let's just have Christmas in July, and that's what I want to do. So, the digital downloads that I'm going to focus on come from the Tailor-Made Journals Etsy store, and Lorna. She is the designer, and she was so gracious to send me these two sets, and I so appreciate. She did not have to do that, but I automatically fell in love with these. Now, when it comes to these, and I'm going to real quick page through them so that you can see them, there are two sets. She actually has 4 sets out there of vintage card fronts. Within each of her sets, there are 40 images available when you make your purchase. So I'm just going to real quick flip through these. These images, they give me so many memories when it comes to my grandmother, but just these images are just so beautiful. The faces of the angels and the little girls, they're just gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. Went into different colors. I mean, there's a purple robe for Santa. But there are some great images, and these are perfect for the front of your cards. Why not? We can just do a few things to them. We can mat them. We can add some coffee dyed papers if we want to stick with that. We could add some of our pattern papers to them to back them. Now, this is what they look like when they're printed out on the original size. Okay, so you can see you get 4 photos on each of your pages. Excuse me for one moment. I don't think, oh no, my goodness, no. Hold on here, I gotta turn my fan on. So give me 1 second. Yes, I couldn't understand why I was getting a little warm. Well, never mind. So you can see you have 4 images. Now, the wonderfulness or what a digital download graciously allows for, we can change the size when we print it down. Wait, look at that one. That one's beautiful. I do lean towards the poinsettias. I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. But we can change, oh, the ice skaters. But we can change the size. And again, these are 2 sets that we are looking at. She has some just with the scriptures as well. Also some New Year's. And then you can see we can change our size. So instead of, and again, it's all in the way that we print it. So instead of allowing for the original size 4 to each page, I now basically took 2 pages and put it on one. So now I have 8 images. Now these are the same images, so I don't need to page through them. But these might be more palatable, or maybe you want to use these for tags. Why not? So for this video, what we're going to watch, or what we're going to see, I'm just going to put some cards together using these images. I think they're beautiful. I think they are absolutely fantastic. And we're just going to choose a couple of our images. So I'm just going to roughly cut some out. And I'm going to do some in both the larger size and the smaller size. I am absolutely in love with that facial expression. So I'm not worried about neat cutting right now. I just want to choose the image. I love the one with the angel. Let's see. And you can see you have all kinds of different shapes. Oh, I love that one. Gotta have Santa Claus. That reminds me of a Hummel. I don't know, does anybody else remember Hummels? My mom used to collect them. Oh, that one's got a cute deer, and I like this one. That one just looks interesting. Okay, a real quick page through these. There's so many more. Oh, I can't miss that one. That one, I'm just loving that one. And the one with the child sleeping as well. So we'll just go straight up. And let's just choose some of the ones in the smaller size. A real quick page through these. I think that one is really pretty. Again, I'm just not going to worry about neat cutting right now, because it all depends on what I'm doing. That one's beautiful too. Okay. And let's see. Let's do that one as well. I think I'm going to go right up the side here, because I think both of those images are just precious. Okay, so those are the ones that I'll choose. So again, I will have her shop linked down below, so that you can check out all of the beautiful images that she does have available. So these are the ones that I've chosen. They're the small ones, and then we have the larger. I also grabbed some cardstock, just in basic colors. You know, nothing too fancy. I've got some craft, I've got some dark blue, some green, red, and light blue. And I also grabbed If we wanted to cross over, again, to keep everything simple, you have your cardstock, your regular solid cardstock, so that we can create a mat. If that's the side that you're on, the card making side, you know, it's kind of, you know, a card making and junk journal. I have my scraps of coffee dyed paper. If I want to add that, I have some coffee dyed Christmas paper as well that I can use to back these. And then I also have some pattern paper off to the side. So I'm just going to real quick grab a few more things. I've got my glue stick. There's one more thing that I'm looking for. Yes, my vintage photo is right by me. But I'm just going to grab a few more things and I'll be right back and we will get started. Okay, so I am back. And also while I was gone, I just cut these down just to get them ready. I'm going to be using two different sizes of card bases. I'm going to be using the standard A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and mine are usually set to be a top folding card. It's just something that I just prefer. It's just something that I kind of fell into. So I do have a lot of my cardstock already cut to be 4 1/4 by 11, and then I score it at 5 1/2. I'm also going to use this size. Now, not quite sure what normal size this is, but this measures 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and it is a side folding card. So just something a little bit different in size, and I figured that would be really good for these. If you just wanted to send a cute little message for, what do you call it? Christmas or the holidays. Yes, Christmas. I almost forgot that there. Now, what's great with that is, and I'm trying to find a card so that, okay, here we go. What's great with this size of a card, it is perfect to slip a gift card in there. So you can cut out some notches and it would be perfect to hold a gift card. This is my Barnes & Noble member. Yep, I'm a member. When it comes to this size of a card. So again, if you're just looking for something quick, this is perfect. So I'm going to look, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create some. I'm going to first start with the, you know, what we already have for the most part in our stash. So I'm going to start with this, and I think I'm going to grab the red. I think that would be really pretty. Or the craft. I think they're the two colors, honestly, that I'm going to go with. Yes, the red. We definitely want the red. And what I'm going to do is I will use my Oohoo stick. And again, I do print my images for my digital downloads onto regular copy paper. I do not ever print my downloads on anything else. I don't use photo paper. I don't use heavier cardstock. I'm one to layer it onto cardstock if need be. And I'm just going to take my long shears and trim right up that. And then we have a really nice frame. And then I am going to grab the craft, and I'm going to create another mat, and I'm going to let that one be just a little bit wider. And then I'm going to put this piece down. Now, as card makers, we do have double-sided foams. We have special tapes. So by all means, we can use that. And I'm going to place that right there. And I do think I am going to prop that up. I think that would be really pretty propped up. But again, you don't have to. You can glue it directly down onto the front of your card. So the same thing that we do in card making, we can definitely use a digital download. It saves us time in every way, shape, or form. And we can just add things that we already have in our stash. Now, you don't have to, that there's other digital downloads down there. I mean, you can look for birthday cards if they have them already printed up. You know, the sky is the limit when it comes to what is available out there. Since it is July, I do like to do the whole Christmas in July thing. So yes, you're going to see just a few more Christmas videos. Christmas cards and Christmas tags make me smile. Very much so. So that is our first one. And there's the sentiment. It says very small, Christmas wishes. And again, this is perfect for a gift tag. So just by adding your digital download to some solid mats, we have a beautiful card. So next up, let's do another small one. Now again, we can use our solid paper, but what we can also use is our pattern paper. Now I have this pattern paper pack, of course, Tim Holtz, and there are some just beautiful prints in here. So I'm gonna real quick, that's a little too busy, that's too red, they are double-sided, so I should make sure, oh, I love that green. Yes, I love that green. So I'm going to pull that in. And again, I'm going to use my glue stick. Now you can use, you know, your liquid adhesives as well. You can use your double-sided tape. I'm going to give this one a nice thick border, actually, which will look perfect. And I can match up right to those circles there. Again, whatever you have available, by all means, go for it. And I think I need to cut right there. Yes. So this one I just gave a thicker mat because I'm using the pattern paper. I didn't want to lose the detail of the pattern paper. Now I can already tell because of this pattern that I'm crooked. So let's do that. There we go. So much better. And again, by putting it here, now what I can do is look and say, okay, I need to trim just a little bit off of this side and go straight up. And then I just need to trim off a little bit on this side. I do not like measuring. Sorry. So I'm going to put that right there. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my glue stick. Although since this paper is a little thicker, I probably should have used my liquid adhesive. I'm going to take that right up to the edge. And make sure that this is straight. I'm okay if it's a little crooked. I think that adds to the handmade card experience. And now I am just going to trim this down against the card base that we put it on. And there we go. We have another little tiny gift card holder. And we have that as our focal image. Let's see. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? I think for this one, you know what I'm going to pull in, right? Yes. See, there it is. The vintage photo. I bet you all were wondering where it was at. It was tough. It was tough to not pull this in. I do love my vintage photo. It's definitely a staple for me. I don't know if I could either junk journal or make cards without my vintage photo. It truly is just one of my favorite things. So I'm gonna go through some cardstock here, and what I'm actually looking at, I'm looking at my coffee dyed. So we're gonna do something just a little bit different. And of course, you know I'm going to tear because it's what I do. And I'm going to look at that to come across. And I am going to add my vintage photo around it. And then I'll eventually hit the top. Now for this, since again, I am going to switch over to my liquid adhesive. I think it's a better bond, especially when my papers are coffee dyed. I don't know. I just think something weird happens, I guess. I don't know. And I'm going to kind of look at how high I need to put the glue. And I'm going to place this down here. Again, just along the edge of the card base. Now, usually, I would have like another piece of card here that I would build on instead of the card base, but I just didn't want to cut one down, I'm just saying. So I've got that, and then I'm going to grab, I do want to grab a piece of coffee stained paper, but I need it a little wider. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tear this edge off. And we can have that sit there, or I could actually just have this come up over it. So you know what? I'm really going to go to town on this. Instead of having it look neat, we're going to go down, because then that can sit like that. And that is perfect. Jeez. Okay. I'm going to go around these edges as well. I'm going to come in. I'm going to add a little bit of vintage photo right there, because that is a white spot that is showing. And now I've covered that up. See how easy that was? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Again, we're just going to add our liquid adhesive, and I'm just measuring how tall. I am not worried if this perfectly lays down flat. I do like it when the papers curl and come up a little bit. I think they add interest when it comes to the card or the piece you're working on. Now, when you use this type of glue, you will get bumpies. That's a technical term, bumpies. But they do eventually flatten out. But that is why I do come in with my brayer. And then you can see I'm going to have that come in. I do want to trim these papers down though. So let's trim those down. So that's our front. Now, the wonderful is we can actually grab, doesn't have to be can do some stamping. So now I've got some texture going on there. And I have that. So now what I want to look for is some fabric. And I have that right here. So to add, you know, like a little tiny piece of scrap, and again, it doesn't have to be Christmas material, you know, just having something that's green like this is absolutely perfect. So I'm going to do some trimming on this. If I can find my scissors for my fabric. I'm going to cut there, rip. Of course that didn't go far. And let's see. I want to cut that there. And then I want to cut that in half. I'm going to pull out all these straggles. And I'm going to put that right there. Now again, this is not everybody's taste when it comes to a card. All right. But again, showing 3 different ways to create your cards if you want using digital downloads. You can just add solid paper, solid cardstock. You can also add some of your pattern paper from your stash, and you can see, depending upon your card size and what you're using that for, you can definitely just use pieces of scraps that you have. I'm now going to put down my focal. I mean, I could keep on going and going and going, but I'm just going to put this down. Now I am using my Fabri-Tac because this piece is actually going to go over a piece of fabric as well. And I'm going to put this right down here in this corner and line that up to the edge. I will like to come in with my brayer so that it can get through all of those layers. So again, now just showing these are the smaller ones. Again, one for a gift card. Again, here's my Barnes & Noble membership. Perfect for that, but still for the holidays. So you can see here we just used our solid cardstock, layered it, and we even used our double-sided foam. And again, how simple was that to real quick put together, and you have a beautiful image. And it's probably going to be an image where someone's going to look at it and say, oh, when is that from? So that's kind of cool. It becomes a discussion piece. We also have this one where we just used a larger piece of matting out of our pattern paper. We can do the same thing that we did on this by just using pattern paper as well. We don't have to add fabric, but this one does pull in a junk journal style feel, so to speak, with the piece of fabric, with the torn edges, with the layering that's going on and the collaging, and then we just set our piece down. Okay, so again, just 3 different ways. So I'm going to set these aside, and let's look at our larger ones. This is just my absolute favorite, and I love her face. It is just so beautiful. And this, that is just precious as well. All right, so let's do these 3. I definitely want to layer this one. And I'm going to put this. Now, I'm going to use the mat and put that down like that. And for this, I will go back to my glue stick. I did already trim these down too. Again, didn't want you to have to watch me do that. Gonna put my one corner down first and then move up the piece and then press down. I think that light blue is just perfect for that. I am going to come up this side and just trim a little bit off, and then I'm going to do that along the top as well. And again, you don't, what's even better is, look, these, Lorna's put all of these together for perfect card fronts. You are all set to go right off the bat. The beauty of it, she has many other images as well. Maybe you want to do fussy cutting on images. There is just so much out there. So I encourage you to check that out. And again, I think I'm going to prop this one up using some double-sided foam tape. And I am so sorry, that would be my phone. Hang on. Okay, I am so sorry about that, but I do have to keep my phone on. I do have actually a full-time job, and I am always on call. So, but I do apologize for that. I'm sure that was really obnoxiously loud when it came to that. So I apologize. And we've put the phone back on vibrate because they can wait. And I just have it sitting next to me now so that I can look at that. But again, I do apologize. Okay, so using my double-sided foam tape, we'll get this up on our card base. The double-sided tape that I'm using here is by scrapbook.com. And we will put this down. And this is perfectly the length of our card that we are now making, a landscape card. And I think that is just a precious image right there. So then for our next one, we can see that we can just frame that, and then we will add some sequins to this as well, or some other embellishment by all means. And I think I'm actually the embellishment that I will add. Gotta find it here. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So let's look at a mat. No. Again, I think I am going to go with that red again, because I think that is just really pretty. And for this one, I am going to pull in the vintage photo just to darken up those edges. The thing that I love too about the vintage photo, if you don't cut it straight and you have some of those white sides to it, it covers it up. So I'm going to use my glue stick again. Put that down. And then I'm going to trim up. As you can see, I don't like to measure, but you certainly can. I'm just not a person to measure. And I think for this one, I'm going to come around the edge of my card base as well with some of the vintage photo. And I think that frames that really, really nicely. Of course, I forgot to put my pin back in my bottle. I really need to start remembering to do that. So I'm going to use my liquid adhesive to put this down. We'll put that right in the center. And in our stash, we have our Nouveau drops. By rubbing this in my hands like this, kind of loosens it up. I find that helps for that. And on this image has these cute little tiny candles. So I am going to put a drop at each of the candles just to give them a little bit of an accent. If you have a shimmer pen, you can add that as well. Again, just because it's a digital image, it does not mean that we can't add some of our things that we already have. So I'm going to bring in my Spectrum Noir, and I'm going to put some sparkle on her outfit. So I'm just going to come in and just trace around that image. And I'm going to let that feather out along the bottom. And then fill that in as well. So just adding those few things. So I have the Nouveau drops, and the color that I used was bright gold for the candles, and then I just added a little bit of shimmer to her outfit, and you have a beautiful card. And just added a mat to frame that image up. Now I need to make sure I don't let anything go on top of that, because of course I will do that, yes. And then we have this one. So I think for this one, we're definitely going to come in with our vintage photo. Just around those edges. And again, I think I'm going to come in with the craft. But that's really close. Maybe I'll come in with the red again and then come in with the craft. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I really like to make solid mats for my images. I think it frames them nicely. Again, I'm just going to bring my scissors, trim it up. And then I'm I'm going to create this mat as well. Helps to give it that dimension. And I'll come in just a little bit more to give that a different frame. And we'll trim up that. And again, I'll come in with that vintage photo. And then you can see we have that frame going on there. Now, what I'm going to put as a base on that is a piece of cardstock, and I'm actually going to use this one here. Now this is actually coffee dyed, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to automatically trim this down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because I want to fill up the entire front of my card. So it's 4 1/4, and then we'll take that to 5 1/2. Yes, I see this. So that's going to take that, and then this here will come right in there. So again, you have just that little bit of vintage feel. With those colors. Sorry for that scratching sound. And we'll press that down. And then that's going to sit right there like that. And I think I'm going to prop that up just a little bit using the foam tape. I love adding dimension to my cards. And we'll trim that. Let me get my cap on my glue stick, because that will dry up on me. Set that down. And then I think I'll come in again and put the centers using my Nouveau drops. Around that, and I think I'll put one in the center there. A little bit bigger. And there you go. Something so simple. Well, I don't want to say it's so simple, but just some basic treatments. Again, let the image do the work for you. And again, these are beautiful images. And with one of the sets, you can have 40 different cards. These are the cards that we made. So we have that. Let me move this out of the way. And again, just using things in your stash to accent these images. In no time at all, you can have some beautiful cards, or in this case, gift card holders for your card giving for the holidays. Because I am always running behind. And again, we can accent these, you know, as well. We could have added the gold, but here I just added some fabric, tore up some paper, some coffee dye, did a little bit of stamping. You don't have to. And then we have that one. So I hope I gave you an idea of a different way to make your holiday cards coming up for this season. Again, the digital downloads by Tailor-Made Journals, Lorna, I will make sure that they are linked down below, and also to her Etsy shop. And I believe, yes, she has a YouTube channel as well, so I'll make sure that's linked as well so that you can look at her videos and see what she creates also. If you have any questions, leave those down below, and I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you here just to see all the different ways that we can make some beautiful pieces of art with paper, whether it's in a junk journal or whether it's in a card. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Continue to stay safe. But also, what's most important to me while we continue to do all of that is always be creative each and every day. Take care, everyone. Until next time.